This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, this is the Cliff Yates Show, and as always, you are in the right place. We're all about, especially today, motivation, inspiration, personal growth, self-improvement, philosophies, so that we can live a greater life each and every day. In every way, we're getting better and better. That should be the goal. That's mine. I know it's yours. So I'm glad you're here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel on the YouTube channel, because that helps me grow, because the computer says, hey, people are interacting with the show. They're subscribing, they're liking, they're sharing. Let's show it to more people who are interested in these kinds of things. So I appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, hey, head over to YouTube and see my ugly face, and you'll see that I do actually have a face for radio. Unlocking the power of the mastermind. I am so enthralled with this whole idea, and I have been for many years. And it really it comes from Napoleon Hill in his book, not only Think and Grow Rich, but also this heavy volume, The Law of Success. Napoleon Hill, he brought these concepts together of the mastermind. The mastermind, what is that? The concept of when two or more people get together with a common purpose and goal and objective, two or more minds coming together with that definiteness of purpose, of a singular focus, it actually creates a third mind or a mastermind. And you make progress, you double, triple your time in getting toward the goal that you want to make. The mastermind is so powerful. Napoleon Hill is the one who really came up with the concept. Now masterminds are pretty common in business and circles where people are just striving to get to that next level. There are masterminds that are so expensive. I mean, people are at the $250,000 level, the $500,000, $1 million level just to be part of the group, where but they know everybody in that group is at that level trying to get to that next level. So they've actually creating for themselves, they're their own gatekeepers. But it all has to do with the concept. And there's a couple books out there on creating a mastermind, how you should do it, maybe, setting the rules, how many people you should have in it. Ideally it's 2 to 10, or there's been arguments plus or minus 2 to 20. And, that someone should actually kind of be facilitating the mastermind and saying, listen, this is what we accomplished. And some of the books say people should sign for the rules of the mastermind and how it's going to be performed. And sometimes there's good structure. I like the structure that we're using now in a mastermind I created. So when we start the mastermind, we kind of go over our past week and whether or not we achieved the goals we had set out for ourselves to accomplish. And we don't give excuses or reasons why we didn't accomplish them. We just take 2 minutes to say, okay, I didn't accomplish my goals this past week. I'm resetting them for this coming week. And I think the reason I didn't, maybe you can always come forward with a reason, but it's not required. And after everybody gives their recap of how their week went and their accomplishments, then each person we give 5 to 6 minutes to share what they're working on, what they're trying to accomplish, and if anybody has any input from that, then we get to put in input and say, hey, you're trying to do your website. Well, listen, I use Wix, and I've also used WordPress. Here's the pluses and the minuses, and we can share that information. And then once that person's had their 5, 6, 7 minutes with feedback, then we go on to the next person. And then when we're all done, we each go around for 1 to 2 minutes and decide and say what our goals are for that next week. And we write them down. And the mastermind, I've created a coaching mastermind. And our group, we've been keeping it right to 30 to 35 minutes. None of our meetings have gone over 35 minutes. We only missed 1 week that was because of me, because I was traveling to upstate New York to help my mother, who's 89 with a back injury. And so that was the only reason we couldn't meet. Now, I was the cause, But other than that, we've been meeting together for probably around 8 weeks now. I should know the exact time or dates. I didn't know what to expect, but having read a couple books about masterminds, and especially reading about it in The Law of Success and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And also, I'm part of a mastermind per se with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and I pay a little bit each month to be a part of that mastermind where they share really all sorts of ideas about personal growth, self-improvement, and sharing this, and everybody's in the space of personal growth, personal development. And so all the material is really focused on that and creating a business by sharing the knowledge each one of us has really accumulated, no matter what it's about. As a matter of fact, I not only read it in this book, but I also read it in another book, which was called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. He kind of really touches a lot on mastermind principles. And Maxwell Maltz was a he was a plastic surgeon. And what he found out was, after treating people, he saw that in some cases, even though he made people's outside scars disappear and he made them beautiful again, they were still carrying a self-image as if they still had the injury. They had no more self-confidence. They still didn't act as if the scars were gone. They had inner scars. And that's when he came up with the concept that we have an inner scar to us, and we have to, the self-image that we can create is what's going to propel us towards our goal, and that our brains automatically have a success mechanism and a failure mechanism. And cybernetics really has to do, it's a kind of a sailing term which has to do with autopilot, self-correcting towards a goal. You pick a port you want to go to, and you're always going to be a little bit off course. We've talked about this before, and you make minor adjustments along the way, and then you gradually make it to your destination. But as long as you set that destination with dominating thoughts in your mind, which kind of it goes along with the principles in Law of Success and Think and Grow Rich. I'm talking off the top of my head here from memory. But they really complement each other. So that's another great book to get, is Psycho-Cybernetics. So it's the mind's automatic pilot. It's always going to be going towards a positive, constructive goal or a negative goal, depending on the self-image and self-talk that we're telling ourselves. Maxwell Maltz says to create a self-image that's going to propel us towards a worthy goal, which is what my channel is about, right? It's a culture of progress towards a worthy goal. He said to create a theater in your mind. A theater in your mind that you create yourself. You picture it in detail, to the carpets, the seats, how the screen is, and then you create these big movies. And when you create these movies, you're going to employ all of the submodalities that we use to process information. So you're going to have sound. You're going to have Dolby surround sound in your movie theater where you're the star of the movie. Big speakers, loud, auditory, you're getting it. You're seeing yourself on the screen, vivid color, visual. Kinesthetic, the feeling. Maybe you're feeling the seats. Maybe the seats vibrate when you're in certain scenes. As you see yourself as the champion and the hero of your movie. Maybe you smell. You have smell-o-vision in your theater. So when you're walking through a field of roses, you smell the roses. Now, all of a sudden, that movie in your mind, and you're sitting in those seats, and you're experiencing all of this, it creates a dominating thought, and your mind will start to realize this is very important for you, and your subconscious will, behind the scenes, start working towards that goal. There's several studies, a couple prisoner of war studies, where one of the prisoners of war every day in the theater of his mind, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, it's always worth repeating. In the theater of his mind, this prisoner of war, as he laid in his cell, and he was tortured, treated terribly, but when he was alone in his cell, in his mind, he had been an avid golfer. He played 2 to 3 rounds a day in his mind in meticulous detail. He played rounds of golf. He had his bag. He went to the first tee, right? He's picturing it. He sees the green. He sees his clubs. He actually pulls out the driver, puts that ball, a certain ball with his name on it, and he puts that on the tee. He plays every shot, and he plays a couple rounds a day for 5+ years. He never, in reality, touched a club, of course, in those 5 years. He gets back to the United States, freed, plays a round of golf, and he's playing just as well, sometimes better than he did than before he was taken prisoner, and he hadn't played golf in 5 years. Your creative imagination does not know the difference between your vivid imagination and reality. Create a vivid imagination of what you want, where you want to go, a worthy goal that you want to attain in your subconscious mind, or God, whatever you want to call it, is going to move you in that direction. Things are going to happen, come together, and that very goal is going to come to fruition. And you're going to say, wow, these circumstances, I mean, it had to be coincidence how this came together. These people came into my life. What a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So employ these methods. Create a theater in your mind. Create that movie in your mind and experience what you're visualizing with all the different submodalities of how you experience things, right? Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, all of them. And you're going to be shocked as to what happens when you employ this on a daily basis. So powerful, the creative imagination. In the book, he explains in great detail how the will cannot overpower imagination. Imagination overpowers will. And I was thinking of several examples. I'm not going to go into them, but it's just great. I want to get back to really the power of the mastermind. And as I was saying, I was really reluctant to start my own mastermind. How am I going to do this? And I was reading a book that kind of set it out. Well, so I created a coaching mastermind with 2 other people, Amy and Patrick, and I'm in Florida. One of them's in New York City. One of them's in upstate New York, and they're actively coaching. I went through a health coaching program. I'm not coaching anybody at this time, but we come together with coaching concepts and what each of us are doing, whether it's in our social media production or how we're trying to reach out to clients or what we're doing on our websites. And each of us provides this information that benefits all of us when we share it with other people. But this concept, and the law of success was created. Andrew Carnegie, he asked Napoleon Hill, I want you to commit 25 years of your life to studying the most successful people in America and how they made their millions. And I want you to categorize all of the principles and values that coincide, that are common to each other, so that you can share that information in a book. I'm not going to compensate you for that work, so you're going to have to commit to this work. And of course, Napoleon Hill was employing all those principles that he was learning from these people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, John Rockefeller, Charles Schwab, Woodrow Wilson, James Hill, Captain George Alexander, Edwin Barnes. Some of these guys are old guys that we don't even know what that means. John Davis, Dr. Elmer Gates, William Howard Taft. Okay, we should know that name. And so all these people, he had to meet with all these people and learn Theodore Roosevelt. And he put this book together, The Law of Success, and also Think and Grow Rich. It's the same principles, a couple added here, a couple added there. And this is in the 1930s that he set out on this mission, and he created this created this book, and it's worth getting and studying. But let's talk about it today. You can employ these right away. 2 or more people gather together. Let me read an excerpt from the book, Unlocking the Power of the Mastermind, The History and Definition of a Mastermind. Napoleon Hill, in his seminal work, Think and Grow Rich, introduced the idea of the mastermind group. Hill defined a mastermind as the coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people who work towards a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony. This collective effort creates an invaluable synergy, a third mind, if you will, an invisible force that can propel individuals to achieve extraordinary outcomes. The harmony of purpose and effort at the core of a successful mastermind is harmony. When individuals align their purpose and efforts, they unleash a powerful synergy. Imagine the potential when an entrepreneur, a marketer, and a financial advisor join forces, bringing diverse perspectives towards a unified goal. The result can be transformative, fostering innovation, inspiration, and support. It really has to do with the psychology of a coordinated effort. The psychology behind cooperative effort is intriguing. When people collaborate, they engage in mutual reinforcement. Each participant contributes their unique strengths while compensating for others' weaknesses. By fostering mutual respect and openness, mastermind participants create an environment ripe for growth and achievement. Constructive use of cooperative effort. To utilize a mastermind constructively, you must formulate a clear objective, establish definitive purpose for your group. And that's what we did with our coaching mastermind. We decided it was about propelling our coaching businesses forward. It had to do with coaching other people and what we could do to market our coaching expertise. And we agreed, just like it says here, to welcome diverse viewpoints, leverage the unique insights and experience of each participant, maintain a positive and supportive atmosphere, and it really is. I never dreamed how much I was going to get out of this little mastermind that I created. I've had the inclination really to end the mastermind and let's start up again in the fall, because it's been so fulfilling and I've gotten so much out of this little 30 to 35 minutes each week that I don't want to mess this up, and maybe it'll not be so fulfilling and have so much value if we keep doing it. Maybe we should quit while we're ahead, but we're continuing on, and I kind of check in every week. Should we meet again next week? And we didn't set a definitive ending time, and I think I should do that, really. Let's meet for another, maybe I'm going to pick, let's meet for another 5 weeks, and then let's take a summer break, and then we'll re-up again in the fall. I think that would be a great idea. I think it's good to start a mastermind with, we're going to be doing this for 1 year, once a week, with a definitive, this is our start time. It says to definitely start on time no matter what, and definitely end on a certain time, and have that structure of what each minute is going to be dedicated to. And people find in that structure, they find confidence in that. Thoughts are powerful. Hill believed that each brain functions as both a broadcasting and a receiving station for thought. We're not only broadcasting always to other people, even when we walk around the grocery store, we're also receiving. And you felt it. You felt it with other people. You've had somebody come into a room and you all of a sudden, whoa, a negative force has come into this room. You're receiving thoughts from that person, negative or positive. We are a receiving station and we are a broadcasting station. That's why a lot of salesmen, when they're talking to people on the phone, they'll be smiling. The people on the other end of the phone can't see your smile, but they can feel it through your words, through the telephone. Important. We're always broadcasting. We're always receiving. When mastermind members come together, they can share and amplify each other's ideas, creating a flow of creative and innovative thoughts. This seamless exchange can lead to breakthroughs that might not have been possible as individuals. Broadcasting and receiving thoughts. As each participant taps into this shared consciousness, the collective wisdom grows. Hill emphasized the importance of mental harmony. Those who vibrate at similar frequencies can transmit ideas effortlessly. This highlights the power of emotional and mental alignment within the mastermind. Wow, that's powerful stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I want you to join the family here because we're a culture of prosperity and making progress. We may not even achieve our goals, but as long as we are making progress towards a worthy goal that can benefit all those involved, we are going to be fulfilled. That's how it works. All right, listen, concluding. Let's wrap this up on this mastermind. Forming or joining a mastermind is a profound step towards realizing your full potential. By aligning with others in a spirit of harmony and open communication, you engage in a powerful exchange of thoughts, leading to astonishing achievements. I always have to slow down. I trip over my own words because I'm always trying to speak at the speed of my thoughts. All right, that's it for Unlocking the Power of a Mastermind. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Consider joining or creating a mastermind. And if you'd like to start a mastermind or maybe join one with me, send me a message. Cliff@cliffyates.com is my email. I will answer it. Leave a comment. If you think somebody might benefit from this episode, creating a mastermind, please share this episode with them. It helps the channel. Whenever anybody interacts with the channel, leaving a comment, liking or sharing, it tells the computer, the algorithm as they call it, that people are interacting with the show, and YouTube will share this with people who have interest in like-minded subjects like this. All right, everybody, that's this episode, Unlocking the Power of the Mastermind. You know I love you. I'll see you in the next episode.